Hey listeners, welcome to English Made Simple. You know that little voice in your head that pops up right when you're about to tackle a difficult task?
Oh, yeah, the one that whispers, you know what, I'll just start tomorrow.
Exactly. I'll do it when I have more time and I can really, focus.
Yeah.
Well, today we are doing a deep dive into why listening to that voice is actually the most dangerous thing you can do.
It really is. It feels so reasonable, like this protective safety net for your brain.
Right. And we're basing this deep dive, the 1% who never waste time.
And their whole mission is basically just completely dismantling that old cliche that time is money.
Yeah, because money is renewable. Right.
Yeah.
Like you lose money, you can hustle and make it back.
Exactly. But time only moves in one direction. So the video argues that how you spend your time isn't just a measure of productivity, it's actually the ultimate measure of your self-respect.
Which is a massive shift. Okay, let's unpack this. Normally, we think of wasting time as just a passive event. Like, oh, I'm just killing an hour.
Right, just passing the time. We act like it's this abundant, neutral substance.
Yeah, like doom scrolling or binge watching a mediocre show is a victimless crime.
Hmm.
But this source frames wasting time as an active theft. Every minute you spend making excuses isn't just lost. You are literally stealing from the person you could become.
It's so true. I mean, if I leave $20 on a park bench, it's a bummer, but it's passive. If someone corners me and takes it out of my pocket, I'm being robbed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
When you procrastinate, you are the pickpocket. You are actively reaching into the future and stealing opportunities and growth from yourself.
It's like taking a cash advance on a high-interest credit card, but the massive bill gets mailed straight to future you.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it.
And instead of bankrupting your finances, you are bankrupting your own potential. You get the comfort right now on the couch, but future you pays all that compound interest.
And the interest rate on unfulfilled potential is just catastrophic.
Hmm.
But, to understand why we do this to ourselves, we have to look at the brain.
Right, because it's human nature to want to chill.
Exactly. Evolutionarily, we are wired to conserve energy. We seek the path of least resistance. Growth requires friction, right? It takes cognitive load. So your brain actually thinks it's doing you a massive favor by keeping you comfortable.
But in the modern world, that instinct is constantly misfiring. And worse, it's being weaponized against us.
Oh, absolutely. The algorithms behind the apps you're scrolling are designed to perfectly mimic that evolutionary feeling of safety.
They make it so frictionless.
Exactly. But choosing that engineered comfort is fundamentally an issue of lost self-respect. Every time you choose the easy path, you're sending a subconscious signal to yourself that your future just doesn't matter.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. Okay, I have to push back a little bit here for the listeners, though.
Sure, go for it.
Because we always hear this argument in productivity spaces, right? The idea that time is the great equalizer. Like, we all have the same 24 hours.
Right, the whole you have the same hours as Beyoncé thing.
Yeah, and honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it usually feels like a massive guilt trip. So what does this mean for the listener who is genuinely swamped? They work a demanding corporate job, they have 2 kids, maybe an aging parent.
Yeah, their exhaustion is very real.
Exactly. They aren't waiting for inspiration, they are just trying to survive the day. Is this framework really telling that person they're just lazy?
Not at all, and that's the necessary friction with this concept. The source isn't dismissing a hard life. The obligations are entirely real. The difference is how successful people respond to those constraints.
Okay, so they don't just magically find extra hours hidden under a rock.
Right. They use the difficult circumstances they actually have rather than waiting for things to clear up. Because if you wait to not feel busy,
You'll be waiting forever.
exactly, you'll wait until the end of your life. So instead of relying on motivation, the top 1% build systems. Motivation is a fair weather friend. It abandons you the second you get tired.
Which, for the listener with the job and the kids, is every single day.
Always. So
Yeah.
you design your environment. If you want to write a book, but you're exhausted after putting the kids to bed, you leave your laptop open on the kitchen table before you even start the bedtime routine.
Oh, so you remove the decision completely.
Yes. You make the hard task the path of least resistance. You don't ask yourself if you feel like doing it because the answer is always no. You just do it.
The energy you waste agonizing over whether to do the thing is energy you could have just spent doing it. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, it really does.
Hey, quick pause here. If you've been enjoying listening to this, consider subscribing. We love bringing these deep dives to you.
Yeah, definitely subscribe.
Okay, so to actually stop feeling overwhelmed and start moving the needle, the source says we have to completely throw out traditional time management.
Right, ditch the color-coded calendars and all the complex to-do lists.
Yeah, because time management implies you're just rearranging blocks of time like a game of Tetris.
Hmm.
The real solution here is life management.
Specifically, this concept called time ownership.
And the framework makes this incredible distinction between renting your time and owning your time.
This is such a fascinating point. Most people, like the vast majority of us, rent our time to whoever demands it the loudest.
Paying rent with the hours of your life.
Exactly. Think about it. You wake up, you check your email, and instantly your brain is hijacked by other people's emergencies.
Right, you get to the office and your whole day is dictated by meetings you didn't schedule.
For projects that don't even align with your own goals, you are basically a tenant in your own schedule. And the landlords are your boss, the algorithms, and guilt.
And the really insidious part about renting your time is that it feels productive, you know?
Oh,
So
totally.
you're putting out fires, answering messages, feeling incredibly busy. Society rewards that. But you are essentially a background character in someone else's story.
You're using your energy to build someone else's dream, which connects right back to self-respect. When you rent your time, you are avoiding the anxiety of ownership.
Because taking the pen back means you write the script.
Right, and writing your own script is terrifying because then you are entirely responsible for the outcome. It's much easier to just let the demands of the day pull you along.
Wow. We rent our time because it provides an alibi for our own unfulfilled potential. Like, oh, I didn't achieve my goals because my boss needed me.
Exactly, but owning your time requires a really uncomfortable level of boundaries. You have to redefine the word no.
So think about your day-to-day, listeners. How much of it was rented out to the loudest noise, and how much did you actually own?
Saying no isn't selfish, it's asset protection. When you own your time, you understand you're either investing in the person you're meant to become or you're subsidizing distractions.
So how does that actually change the physical reality of a day? The framework gives this really vivid visualization comparing sand and water.
The physics of attention. This is such a powerful image.
Right. So the 99% operate like sand. If you hold a handful of sand and let it drop, it just scatters everywhere.
It's completely passive. Gravity just pulls it into this wide, shallow pile with absolutely no depth.
That is the exact feeling of context switching all day. You know, checking 20 apps, half watching a video, half answering a message.
You're doing a little bit of everything, but you aren't fully present for any of it. You're scattering your energy, which just maximizes entropy.
It leaves you completely drained by bedtime, but you have nothing tangible to show for it.
You didn't carve anything meaningful. But time ownership, operating like the 1%, is treating your attention like water flowing down a mountain.
Yes. Water doesn't waste itself pooling in comfortable puddles. It's an active force.
Exactly. It finds the most efficient path with unstoppable momentum toward one purpose, which is reaching the ocean.
Here's what really gets me about that imagery. Sand is totally passive, but water actually gathers momentum. Over time, that relentless force can cut through solid rock to create a canyon.
While the sand just piles up and blows away.
So you really have to look at your own goals and ask, am I letting circumstances scatter me across a dozen meaningless tasks? Or am I carving a canyon?
And you have to realize the people carving canyons don't have a secret genetic advantage. They just decided their future was more important than their present comfort.
The realization that no one is coming to save you is terrifying, but it's also incredibly liberating. It puts the pen completely in your hand.
The life you're waiting for doesn't exist in some hypothetical tomorrow. It begins with the physical action you take right now.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway for the listener. Someday is today. Every second you hesitate is potential you can never get back.
So don't just absorb this as another interesting idea and move on to the next distraction.
Exactly. We challenge you to audit your life. Look at your calendar for tomorrow. Find just one single hour that is currently being rented out.
Maybe it's a meeting you don't need, or an hour you usually spend doom scrolling.
Cancel the lease on that hour. Take it back, claim ownership, and apply it to the one significant thing you have been putting off.
Because the future you want isn't going to build itself from scattered sand.
Stop acting like sand. Become water. And the next time you hear that voice whisper, I'll start tomorrow, recognize it for what it is. It's the sound of a pickpocket.
That's a powerful way to end. But, if we pull back, there's actually a really important tension here to consider.
Oh, a final provocative thought. I love it. Lay it on us.
So the philosophy urges us to be like water flowing rapidly down a mountain, right? Never resting in those comfortable puddles.
Right, always carving the canyon.
But there is a documented danger in absolute ruthless efficiency. Historically, some of the greatest creative epiphanies happen exactly when we allow our minds to just pool in those quiet, unproductive puddles. Oh, that's true. Like Archimedes in the bath.
Exactly. Or the necessity of unstructured play for your brain. So how do you balance the unstoppable momentum required to reach your goals with the fundamental human need to occasionally just be still?
And let the water settle. Wow, that is the tension we all have to navigate. Do you relentlessly carve the canyon today, or do you need to stop and nourish the soil around you?
Definitely something to think about.
Well, that wraps up today's deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us on English Made Simple. Don't forget to like this video and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. We'll see you next time.